Welcome to Business on the Vine. I'm your host, Lady Jen Duplessis, and in this dynamic series, we dive into the challenges, breakthroughs, and victories of entrepreneurs who have turned their passion into success. Welcome. Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the show. We're just sitting here chatting. Actually, we're chatting about whole life. And if you've not seen any of my podcasts where I talk about whole life and how to invest, killer to be able to invest in whole life, because instead of putting 25,000 in the bank and going, I need the money, and you take it out and it's gone, you put 25,000 in your whole life, a whole life account, and you take out the money and the money still accrues. So it's killer. But welcome, Lori. Happy to have you as a guest today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. So let me tell you a little bit about Lori Osborne. She is affectionately referred to as the authority amplifier. She helps establish thought leaders elevate their online presence with custom on-brand websites. And we're going to talk about that. She works with experts who feel their website falls short of their brand and impact, helping them stand out, showcase their expertise, and turn visitors into clients, which means they finally have a website they're proud to share and that works as hard as they do. So I absolutely love and what you're doing. And I can't wait to ask you a bunch of questions, but number one, in full transparency, we should probably tell everyone that you do my website, right? You take care of my website, so you can head on over to ladyjenduplessis.com and you can see the website that she's built for me. And so thank you. I've been a longtime client of hers. So Lori, I want to talk about a couple of different things. This is Business on the Vine. And one of the things that we talk about is, all the things that we're hearing through the grapevine. So when you think about putting your business together, which your business is called Biz Bolster Web Solutions, when you were thinking about putting this business together, what were some of the apprehensions that you had or the fears that you had? Because someone listening might be saying, I want to be an entrepreneur. I'm so afraid. I don't know what to do. So what were some of the things, the feelings that you were going through as you were starting your company years ago?
Oh, wow. That's a really good story. I kind of feel like I have to mention that my business came about as a result of me finding out I have a brain tumor. So that changes everything in terms of, I went through, am I even capable of running a business? Because I lost a lot of confidence when I had my surgery, and just brain surgery can have an impact on you. But the other part was I'd been self-employed before. I'd owned a business. I'd always known that was what I'm supposed to do. Like, this is what I was built to do, but I had never built websites. And here I wanted to go start a business doing websites. And I'm not sure, I'm positive that several people in my life thought I was insane. They're like, what, especially coders and developers, because they're like, you don't know how to code. What are you talking about? Well, you know what? You can build great websites without touching code. And as I was recovering from my surgeries, I was playing on Squarespace and decided to build a website called Health Nut Like Grandma to talk about, I just lost my mom to cancer and I had this brain tumor, and I just wanted to share. And as I was building it, I'm going, wow, these platforms are out there now, but a lot of people probably have no clue what to do or how to do it. And I found it easy and went, well, why don't I just learn? But nine years later, I still have those points where I go, do I have any business doing this? I mean, seriously, like, who am I? I didn't go to school for 10 years to do it. I didn't, a lot of what I do came natural, and plus the 20 years of technology background. So I think that was the biggest hurdle, was just, can I? And do I have the chops to do this in this world?
If you had a tech background, then you do have the chops. I mean, because there's definitely the tech part of this that a lot of people, go from. I mean, I'm a great app user, but don't ask me to do anything else in an app. It's hard enough to fill out my profile. I mean, I do it all, but I'm not in tech. And it's really funny because my degree's in engineering. You'd think I'd want to, but don't want to, not interested. And you even know, working with me, I'm like so high level. It's like, and that's caused problems sometimes because then I was like, that's not what I wanted, but I forgot to tell you. So yeah, I love that you said that, there was concern, can I even do it? And it's really the imposter syndrome, right? So often in business, a lot of us have that imposter syndrome, but I think that comes from, past trauma, limiting beliefs, what others say. We have
Yeah,
those naysayers in our world because you said they thought, what, yeah, you're crazy. And we just have to learn to look beyond that, and say, well, tell me I can and watch what I do. Right.
just kind of how I am. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think, this was the first time I've ever been creative in my work.
Mm,
I had never, but creativity runs in my blood, like it's in my entire
yeah.
family. And once I realized, like, I can decorate a house like nobody's business. Well, it's kind of the same in a
Yeah.
lot of ways. It's balance and color and, so I think that's where the doubt came in is, do I have the creative ability? And then the more I've done it, I've realized yeah,
Yeah.
I can.
I can do it. Yeah. Yeah. Get out of my way. Watch what I do. Yeah. So as you started off in your business, what are some of the challenges that you had in getting it off the ground to bring it to the level it is today, where it's kind of moving along, and we all want to grow. I get we all want to grow. But what are some of the challenges that you had and how did you overcome them? Did you seek mentorship? Did you seek counsel? Did you look to resources? How did that happen?
Well, I would say that the biggest challenge has been being in the right rooms and finding the right people that are willing to pay what you should pay for the services that you get. Part of the challenge of having easy platforms is everybody thinks they can do it themselves.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, and not, I'm sorry, even though it's easy, that doesn't mean you're necessarily going to do a good job. So it's overcoming that. And yes, I did. I sought coaches, I sought mentoring, I still do. Just I have a really good business sense just because I've done this before, but it's I'll be honest, when I started this business, I said, I just want to build websites and I don't want to know anything about marketing. I literally thought that. I really did not understand because I did not have a marketing background. I
Yeah,
did not understand at the time that that's the whole point of your website. I mean,
right.
now I can preach to you upside down, backwards and forwards about marketing. I get it. But I had to learn that. Like that,
Yeah,
that was the evolving of this business of no, it's not just building a pretty website. Yes, I
yeah,
can build a pretty website, but it needs to be a functional website. It needs to do the job of actually being a marketing tool. So,
yeah, yeah. So what are some of the reasons that, and I know that in your bio we talked about the fact that you are working with established thought leaders, myself included, who have a level of success. They have a level of notoriety or influence or whatever the case may be. And I know that that's a target market for you because it does your expertise does cost, right? And they always say, if you think it's expensive to work with a professional, try working with an amateur. Right.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Yes.
And so, these thought leaders, what are some of the things that, and I mean, this is almost like a reverse question for me because I know what's important for me, but as you're talking to business owners, right, and or entrepreneurs, they're both similar but not, when you're talking to them, do you find that there's a variety of what they want from their website as opposed to what you think they need? Are they what are some of the things that people want on their website?
Well, I'm pausing to answer the question because I don't think most people realize the point of the website.
Mhm.
Um, they usually realize they need one and they're like, oh, I need to get this information out there. I need to sell. And I need to get people to my website. I need them to buy from me. And we skip the whole step of the website is a relationship building tool. And if you are a thought leader, you probably are selling packages or items or what you're selling is more than, let's say, an e-commerce store where I'm going to hop on and buy something for $10.
Oh, yeah.
And most of the time, no one's going to come to the website and write a $10,000 check. Like
Right.
it's relationship building. So what I think most miss is the branding piece, and that's what I feel like when I finally realize what I'm good at, that's the part that I'm like, wait a minute, that's what I do different. I'm it's the building of a relationship and them and speaking to your audience and them understanding and going and connecting and going, oh my God, that's me. You get me. Tell me more. And then if we do the website right, the website's telling you more, like we're going to give you more places to dig in and more, more relationship building. So we're building that know, like, and trust. I mean, that's the core right there.
Yeah.
Is it's
Yeah.
a tool.
Yeah. Yeah. And I find it interesting because you and I have had this conversation before about me, for example. I've been so apprehensive. I don't want my products on my website. I want to have a relationship with someone. So we have some baby products on there, right? But we don't have any major products because my target, just like yours, is very top notch, top tier, kind of people. And I know I'm not going to sell a $25,000 or $50,000 program on my website.
No.
So it's more about, hey, let's have a conversation. Let's see if I can help you. Let's see what your needs are and what you want.
Right.
And for me also, we have this little battle every once in a while about SEO, right? I don't really care about SEO. I don't care if anybody finds me organically like that, and every podcast I'm on, I say, go to that website and then connect with me. And that's just how I am. But do you find that you are challenged with people understanding the importance of certain aspects of a website that you have to help them get over those limiting beliefs or get over those humps, or again, is it that everybody? I always think every client I work with has a different DNA.
Yes.
I cannot answer the same question. People ask me all the time, who's the first person I should hire? And they said, everybody says, and a book says it's the administrative assistant. And I go, I don't know, because your DNA is different. You may not be able to hire anybody because you're not capable of being a good manager and leader. And so maybe you don't even have a first hire yet, right? We have to work on your skills. So being able to be flexible with that, do you find that people have different DNA and that when you're building these sites, your focus is different? Or do you stay with the same sort of framework and just, elevate or deflate, a specific area?
Yes and no. So there are some basics that just have to be done that like may not even be discussed. You and I don't discuss your SEO, but I still make sure that it meets the SEO standards. But on the other hand, I no longer sell SEO packages because I recognize it is a lot of work and very specific technical work to make thought leaders show up on a first page, because last I checked, there were over 20 million coaches in the United States.
Right.
So how are you going to stand out in a search? And they're all national or international. So so I don't really worry about that in terms of SEO, but I do make sure that all the rules are followed when the site is built so that we have the best chance for SEO. But a lot of it, I guess I'm very fortunate in I feel like I do a good job up front in building the know, like, and trust to where most of my clients don't question most of what I do. They give feedback, like you're very good at giving feedback, but I very rarely get, well, why did you do that way? Or why did you do that page that way? Because the other thing is, yes, every single website I build is very unique, not in how I build it, not in what I'm doing, but in the end result, because the end result is all about the client and their brand and their message. So it's unique in that way.
Right. So why do clients work with you? What makes you different? And the reason why I'm asking this is not so much for someone who's listening to say, "Oh, well, what's she different and why do I want to work with her?" Although we want them to. That's why we're all on podcasts, right? But from a business perspective, how important is it for you to have a client experience or something that they refer people, or what is it that draws people to you? Because every one of us who has a business, we have to be looking at, how do I attract people, and then how do I manifest more opportunities from every client that I have?
Right. Right. Well, 99% of my business comes from referrals.
Mhm.
And the
From
reason
a
people,
web person who does SEO to get attraction.
I think I have two clients from Google. I have two clients from Google in 9 years. Yeah. And I do show up first in my area. I will say that.
Yeah.
Um, there's several reasons. Number one, I am not your typical web developer. I am a web developer with personality. I
Mhm.
am an extrovert that gets the technical, and my superpower is I can take very technical knowledge and put it very simply and clearly to someone that knows nothing about technology. I'm
Yeah.
also very, very patient with technology and can calm people down. But I think the real reason is I connect with people, and
That's so
that's
important in business. Yeah.
it is. And branding is such a complicated it's complicated. And I was born with a very strong intuition. I can read people very quickly. I can understand them very quickly. Um, I'm very open, which I think allows other people to feel like they can be open with me. And I build a relationship with my clients. I consider every one of my clients to be a friend.
Yeah.
And they know that I was just joking with someone the other day, like I do, I hesitate to say this. I do way too much for free,
Yeah. Well,
but
you and I talked about that.
yeah,
Yeah, you
but
and I.
but my clients know that I'm there for them.
Yes.
I'm gonna, if they have a
And I
problem,
think
they
we all
know
do
that I'm
that.
there for them.
Yeah, and I think we all do that. I personally think, when I think of people that are, you get 20 minutes and oops, it's 19 point whatever. And they're like, we got to go, we got to go. I said I was only going to give you 20. I understand the value of money, but there's also, the value of getting them the result that they want, as long as they're not abusing you. But I think
Yes.
everything that you said is something that as business owners is where, as you're listening to this, that you need to possess in your business. They can't be numbers. And they don't have to all be friends. Depends on the volume that you're doing. I get that,
Right. Right.
but
Right.
you have to be friendly. I've said this before. I said this when we were on the marketers cruise and I was speaking. If you care more about the people than you do the cash will come.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think you definitely do that. And I think that's wonderful. So I want to ask you this question. You mentioned it a few minutes ago, but the difference between a pretty website and a website that works, because often I'll stumble across a website and I'll send you the website and go, hey, I kind of like this and I like this and I like this. And I'm always changing and developing. And I do think that websites aren't set it and forget it.
No.
But I
No.
don't want to have to revamp. But there's aspects of little websites that I like. I'm attracted to pretty. I'm
Yes, sir.
attracted to simple, pretty. Wow, it looks so professional, right? It's so elevated. And, then there's the website that actually works. Now, the converse is horrible looking websites that happen to work. They do work. Uh, but tell us what you mean by having the pretty website versus the website that works. Because if someone's thinking, hey, I'm going to call Lori and see if she can do this, but I want mine to be pretty. I know you
Well,
build a pretty website, but go ahead.
yes. I mean, I am not going to compromise the pretty.
Yeah.
And if you go to Lady Jen's website, I think it's really, really pretty. And it's I like to say it's worthy of Jen's royalty. It is a Lady Jen level site. Um, it it absolutely has to look good. I mean, but it has to capture the personality. Here's a great example. My very first website was actually a realtor in Colorado that I'd done a lot of work with,
Oh,
and he is this amazing Scottish guy, and he's got that amazing Scottish accent, and he very polished, very professional, speaks very great. His website was,
A disaster.
oh my God, ugliest thing I'd ever seen in my entire life. And I'm like, Ewan, you have got a video over here about your Scottish background that is so you. Like it needs to be front and center. Like it should, and like we literally worked the website, the homepage around this video because it was so him. So it's about looking good, but it's got to be the right. We've got to use the right language. We've got to speak to the ideal audience. I've heard you say it a million times. If you're trying to sell to everybody, you will sell to nobody. A
Right.
website's the same way. You cannot have a generic website that tries to speak to every single potential client that you could ever have. We
Yeah.
are not Dove soap. Okay.
Right.
And even Dove soap
Or
has even,
Kleenex,
yeah,
right? Tissue.
yeah. Even Dove soap has kind of leaned in on their, ideal avatar. But we can't, it's gotta function in terms of it's speaking to your ideal client,
Yeah. Yeah.
not the world.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I think people tend to work in that scarcity rather than abundance, and understanding that, the niche, you can get rich in niches, or, there's riches in niches. We've all heard that. And I think that that's really important. And, something that I'm working on, right? I continue to work on this. We were just talking
Me
about this
too.
in the green room, it's like, just trying to make sure that people understand exactly what I do and how I can help them, right? And how I serve them. And love that. I love that you're saying, all of those pieces. I want to just transition into a couple things as we finish up our time together. One is, you've been in business for a while. What counsel do you have? What tip or trick do you have that you have just learned in the last year or so that has accelerated your business? Because that's part of what we want to do on the Vine is, oh, I heard it through the grapevine that this really cool tool is out there, this resource is there, this new way of doing things. This keeps us fresh and keeps us moving along, right? Because vines
Yeah.
grow and then they get harvested and then they grow again and they grow bigger and bigger and deeper deeper roots, every year until they get to 30 years. And that's when they're the best wine, right? It
Right.
takes 20 to
Right.
30 years to be the best wine. So what's some uh, wisdom you'd like to share?
Okay. I would say about a year ago is when I really started realizing the power of AI,
Mm-hmm.
but I was terrified of it, which is ironic that I'm a technologist, but
Right.
it felt so big and like, oh my God, I have to learn everything. And then, I think it's really important to remember what people are saying. They're worried about jobs being replaced by AI. You've got to know AI to use AI to not lose. I mean, I don't want to say to not lose your job, but I mean, it's using the AI as the key.
Yeah.
And what I've learned recently is I'm taking it in small chunks now. I'm learning a little bit of AI.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I'm using it to the point where I've said for years, God, I need a mini Lori. I need a mini Lori. I need a mini Lori. Well, I've trained a mini Lori
Yeah.
and I have a marketing assistant. BBB is what I call it. It's Biz Bolster brand builder. And he sits over there and I go, okay, we need this. Go write it for me. And he knows my brand inside and out. I have created a brand GPT specific. So
Yeah.
I just got to pull that up and go, this is what I need.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine running a business anymore without having that.
I know. I asked Chat to put together a 12-week course for me with modules, homework, sample, what should I put on the slides, the whole thing. And like boom chuck it was done versus me going, okay, here we go. I got to start from scratch.
Yep.
I can't wait till a PowerPoint is, and actually I have a service where you just send your outline and it makes a PowerPoint for you, which is pretty cool. But it's not quite there yet, that recognizes my brand. But yeah, I love that you're
Yeah.
saying that.
I just
And I
think
think that's,
the importance of
yeah,
embracing what we can do with AI and you and I were talking earlier. I mean, it does not mean go out and sign up for AI training and
Be overwhelmed,
drown yourself in it,
right? And
especially
be
when that,
overwhelmed.
like that's part of my job. Like I need to be doing that, but a coach doesn't.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you can't take a piece of AI and start using it and completely transform your business and your time.
Well, I think that one of the easiest ways is to put a Chrome, if you're using Chrome or whatever, an addition on there, because now when I search, I'm not searching in Google. I'm searching in AI. It's completely different.
Mhm.
It gives me so much more response. It still sends me to Google for things. It still sends me to websites for things, but it has so much more to say on it.
Yeah.
And it's been super helpful to do research, for example. So if you're a business owner and you're saying, who's my competitor who is um, an event planner or an HVAC company or a realtor, who are the biggest competitors out there that are getting the biggest, whatever, and show me their websites and what is it about their website that's really cool, and tell me about their programs, their products, what are they saying, and I'm able to do research on my competitors so
Right.
much faster than going to Google and looking through all the different websites and stuff like that. And I did
Yeah.
some research on some coaching, and I came up as a suggestion in chat. And I was like, oh, check
Yay.
me out.
How
Right.
awesome is that?
Yeah.
I love
I
it.
was like, look at that. But then I started going, oh, you're just trying to flatter me because you know who I am. Right.
It's possible. It's possible.
But sometimes we can't see the label from inside, right? We're in the picture frame. We can't see our own ears. And sometimes that happens where I had the answer. It was just in my program, but I didn't know. Right.
Yeah.
But I think, as a business, these are things that we need to start be looking at is that. And yeah, I absolutely love that. I think that's really cool. Now I know something else that's going on, and that is going on. And if you're watching this, you're seeing behind Lori a series of books called The Art of Connection. And I know you're really involved in this. I've been in one of them, and I think I'm in the other one. I don't know if it's been released, but I just know it's there.
You're in the sunflower ones, and this is the journal and the book. And yes, it has been released.
Okay, I don't have it. I don't. You know what? You need to send the link to me so I can put it in this
Okay.
because I don't even know it's been released, and I should get one, and I don't know why I don't have one. So I'll buy it. But yeah, and so I love this art of connection because, and for people that are going, oh gosh, is this woo woo stuff? It's really not. What it is 365 days or 365 authors, or some authors bought more days because they want their birthday and their anniversary and something special. And you pick your days, and then you write just a little quick paragraph on the topic. So the art of connection with gratitude, the art of connection with
Abundance.
abundance, right? So all these different topics, so you could write these topics on there. And so we'll put links to these books so people can grab them. It's just, it's a daily sort of journal. It's like, and it's amazing how God works, because you'll open it up and say, oh my gosh, I needed this today. How come this is here? But he has his ways. Um, and that's what I really like about it. And I know, what is the next one that's coming out?
The next one's resilience,
The art of
which I
resilience.
love because I just feel like that is my middle name. So
That's
I
my time.
cannot
Me too.
wait.
All about
Love
resilience.
it.
Yeah, all about resilience. Yeah.
And just to add this year, so I said that they added the journal, which I really love too, because it's the same quotes. It's not dated, so you can start it and end it at any time.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's a whole page with a quote on it that's inspirational. And I've been using my journal like crazy because I love that it's not dated, because I was afraid it was going to be, and I'm going to be like, okay, I skipped 6 months. What do I do?
Right.
But it's a
Right.
great companion to
I know
it.
what you're saying. Yeah, I know what you're saying with that. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, and there's been, this is book 5. We're getting to do ready to do book 6. There are over 1,400 authors over the 5 years,
Yeah.
over 500 never published before authors. Your assistant Vicky was her
Yeah, it's
last
her
one
book.
was her
Yeah.
first time being published. So she's now a 2-time best-selling author
Yeah.
because she's been in
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
So it's so, and we're also the only collaboration book in the Library of Congress.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
yeah, it's a really great inspirational, and it's a great community. Like it's just an
Yeah.
amazing community.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, we'll have a link in case you, as a business owner, because I've talked about this before, you need to amplify your influence. That's part of attracting clients and attracting, as I call it, world-class team members, right?
Yes.
World-class team members. It's a way for you to attract things to you. So we'll put that in there. It's so nominal. We're not going to say the price. It is so nominal. There are so many collaborative books. You know, one that I was invited to is $10,000 for you to be an author in a chapter.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
This and you know, others that are 5,000 or 2,500 or whatever. This is very, very affordable. And if you want to get that exposure, you're hearing it through the grapevine, right? This is where you get the exposure. So we'll make sure that we put a link in there so that you can get information about being an author for the first time. You know, what a great
Let me mention too, the reason I'm part of the leadership team is I just built a directory for it.
Yeah.
And I don't know of very many collaboration books that also offer you entry in a directory with your own landing page that has full information about you where you can be found. And
Yeah.
that is included
Yeah.
in the books going forward. So we can network with each other as well and do
Well,
business.
listen, that's why I do collaborative books. And I, you know, again, the reason I do like doing some collaborative books, and I've been in 20, I don't know, this one will probably be, I think, 24. I have 4 of my own books. I'm working on my 5th right now. And then I've got all these collaboratives. The reason I am is because I want to meet people. I want to meet people that refer business. I want to create a community, create bird dogging for my business. And this is a great way to do that. And I don't care what business you have. It's a fantastic way for you to collaborate with other people, you know, in your space, you know, or related to your space. And I don't call and reach out to everybody in it. There's a lot of healers that are in it, and I don't really do the healing thing, but you know, I go right after business people. And that's how a lot of people have been on this show, is as a result of being in a collaborative book with me. And boy, my team, she knows. Vicky's my operations director, and she knows when a new book comes out, go through. I'm going to go through there, and I'm going to say, call them, get them on the show, and give. And if I give first as a leader and a business owner, then the law of reciprocation will always come back to me.
Yes.
And so there's strategies behind that, you know, that I think are really important. So, and I know you have a gift for everyone who's listening. So it's called the Authority Advantage: 5 Steps to Elevate Your Brand and Online Presence. And I know that you're also going to give the option for someone to purchase the brand strategy session that you have as well. But we have the free gift. So tell us a little bit about, I know it's 5 steps to evaluate your brand, but what's entailed with that? Do I have to dig deep and be a techie person? Do I have to run reports and stuff?
No, no. This is just a short and simple evaluate your own brand. It's a good entry into asking the right questions about your brand and really understanding, because if you've never thought about it, you need some triggers to be. A lot of people don't even know what their brand is.
Yeah. I know.
So yes, and then the additional, I am offering a discount on my blueprint package where we really dig in. And I would like to just share just a quick story. When I created part of what you get out of this brand program is you get your own GPT. And I know a lot of us, me included, have worked off of our chat GPT. We've taught it all about it. We continue to do it. There's something when you've got your GPT already built, you don't have to, you just go to it and ask it a question. And I had to do a page for a client the other day that we hadn't done her brand session yet. And I was blown away by the difference in content in straight GPT not having brand knowledge and my GPT. It was night and day different. So, you know, I would love to have that opportunity to build your GPT so that you get the quality from the AI that you need, not just information.
Right. Generic information. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited, and I know I'm going to be part of that. I'm excited about it. And I appreciate the gift. Thank you so much for giving that to everybody. And of course, there'll be all kinds of opportunities for you to reach out to Lori. What is the best way for us to get in touch with you, Lori? The best way? There's lots of ways.
There's lots of ways. You can go to my website. There's a button everywhere. Let's chat or schedule a consultation call. Get on my calendar. That is the very best way. You'll have my undivided attention. And let's have a conversation. And check out my website while you're there too. Go to the gallery. Go look at the gallery.
All right. So one last piece of wisdom, a quote, a thought, a book, an idea that you'd like to leave for everybody as business owners.
I just want to reiterate, if you're trying to sell to everybody, you will sell to nobody. So just really stop
Where
and
did you
think
hear
about
that? I know.
just seriously, just stop and think about that and go, I was reluctant for a very long time to niche down. I lived in that fear and scarcity, sphere of scarcity as well. It's decide who you want to work with, embrace it and go with it and own it.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for being a guest today. I really appreciate it. So, okay, here's your action items. Number one is get the authority advantage. Take some time to go through your brand and online presence to at least do that part of it. Another thing I would recommend you do is look at the Art of Connection. If you're trying to amplify your influence, you're trying to get out there in the world, look at that link as well. See if that fits you. See if it fits somebody else, that you may have in your business. And I think the last thing is, I'm always saying there's no such thing as limiting beliefs, only lifting beliefs. And as Lori talked about her story and how she felt, a little bit of an imposter syndrome, wasn't sure this was right. In your heart, if this is something you can deliver, that you can deliver something. Work on that lifting belief. Look at that and saying, instead of saying, I can't, saying, what can I do? What are the things that I can do, and create a business from that, or grow your business from that, expand your business from that. So those are your action items for you. Please take a moment and give us a great review and give us a great rating. Say something about Lori so that she knows that something that she talked about landed with you. And please head on over to YouTube and subscribe so that you can hear more from this podcast as well as the others that we do as well. So again, Lori, I want to say thank you so much for being my guest here today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been such a pleasure.
Great. See you next time. Thank you for joining us on Business on the Vine. If you found value in today's conversation and would like additional support, go to supportfromjen.com. Remember, the best ideas are always discovered on the vine. So keep innovating, stay inspired, and continue to grow.